Greetings to everyone, friends. I just came across an article from Channel 24, which was also published just a few hours ago, about the so-called contactless mobilization being prepared in Ukraine. Territorial recruitment centers can no longer stop cars or staff checkpoints. I would like to quickly break this down now so that you are already aware of what's happening today, and also so you can share this with your friends and acquaintances. So, what is this about? It's about the fact that in 2026, the mobilization processes will undergo digital changes. The government aims to restore trust in the armed forces of Ukraine and eliminate chaos in inspections. And the same Channel 24 is informing about the new rules of technological mobilization. So, this publication is actually the source. They don't refer to anything else. I think this is happening because Fedorov is becoming the Minister of Defense and everyone actually expects digitalization from him. And let's now break down what's being planned, what's going to happen. After watching this video, you can write how realistic you think it is. First of all, due to ongoing conflicts between the military recruitment centers and society, the state is changing the format of mobilization measures. In 2026, mobilization will undergo systemic changes, shifting from manual control to a digital model. Military recruitment centers will no longer stop cars on the street, and the entire registration system will operate according to clear rules with automatic checks. I'm really curious if any Ukrainians actually believe that the practice of stopping buses will just suddenly end and everything will switch to a digital mode. Because it seems to me that looking at the millions of statements, which, by the way, we'll also discuss in tomorrow's episode, about how the only option is busification, and right now a lot of different public figures, mostly those in power, are saying that busification is the only way to replenish the army. But here we see that the information is different, and by the way, there are reasons for that as well. The government explains, but which one and who isn't clear. The government says these changes aim to free police from military roles and rebuild trust in the armed forces of Ukraine. The purpose of this digitalization is to eliminate chaotic inspections, and from now on, the authority to check military registration documents is transferred to the National Police, the National Guard, and the Security Service of Ukraine. I want to remind you that TCK officers never had any authority to check military registration documents, and moreover, they did not and do not have the authority to bring anyone to the TCK. By the way, the National Police also do not have the authority to bring anyone to the TCK. The National Police can, by court order, bring someone who hasn't updated military registration documents to court to receive their fine. All deliveries to the TCK are now completely illegal, effective today. Military conscript control will become more technological. Cameras will automatically scan license plates and, if the owner is in the Obrig database, send a signal to the nearest patrol immediately. If Reserve Plus data isn't updated or rules are broken, police can issue fines, restrict driving, or detain and take the person to a service center for verification. We see that there is no information here about There's no mention of being taken to the Territorial Recruitment Center. Those are Channel 24's thoughts. They are understandable because Fedorov is now becoming the Minister of Defense and everyone wants him to strengthen this digital control. We remember that all the databases that exist in Ukraine, in fact, are now being merged into a single database where all the information about all men will be stored. Yes. With this system and through this tool, a lot of interesting things can be done. Yes, that's also clear. On the other hand, will they do it? Personally, I absolutely don't believe in this story. To me, it's just a fairy tale. So that people would stop worrying about their rights being violated and just complain less. There, about Russification, as they call it, actually, many of these media personalities say that this is called whining. In my opinion, the first thing that needs to be done is to restore, first of all, the rule of law and start punishing those who are guilty. Because Now what happens is that when someone attacks a military commissar or fights back against him, this person, this civilian, must be held fully accountable under the law. And then a lot of messages start appearing on the internet saying that all civilians should be completely swept up. But when the same thing happens only from the side of the military commissariat, we know that these situations are either hushed up or, at most, some internal investigations take place, and that's it. So I think that this particular story came up specifically about this contactless check and about something being forbidden for the military commissariat staff. Let me remind you, they weren't even allowed to do that originally. All of this just aims to reduce tension. But again, no one will actually follow through. Similarly, Article 24 of the channel doesn't explain it. They said here that they will check the cars, who they are registered to, and so on, and then they will use cameras to send information to the nearest patrols so they can check them. The question is different. What if a man drives a car that is registered to his wife or his parents? What about pensioners? Then what? It's also unclear what will happen to those who travel by minibuses, buses, or the subway. What is supposed to happen to them? They won't be checked? I don't believe it. There's also an opinion that draft notices will be sent after some analysis is done, and they will be sent specifically to people's addresses. But that's something you already understand. And even those TCC officers who walk around the streets, they can already just hand a draft notice to a person according to their authority. Then continue their walk without forcing anyone into a van or accusing them of being a violator who must go to the TCC. Since they lack the authority, they can only give someone the draft notice. If that person throws it away, they should just get a fine, nothing more. And these stories about how the busification will suddenly stop and everyone will be dealt with online. Contactless mobilization. Just imagine that scenario. I think it's just another story to distract attention. Because as of today, if we remember, when a person is caught on the street by TCC officers and taken to the TCC, it's hard to get out of there. In some regions, people say that you even have to pay $5,000 or $10,000 just to get out, without any guarantees that someone won't catch you again. On one hand, there's only a 17,000 hryvnia fine for not updating your military registration or discarding a summons. We know that $10,000 equals 430,000 hryvnias today, while the fine is 17,000 hryvnias. It's clear that then, for people, yes, for these civilians, as they say, for draft dodgers, it would be much better. They would then be fully adequate and in complete sync with the law. You broke the law, paid the fine, everything's okay, just like when you exceed the speed limit on the road, you went over, paid the fine, and went on your way. It would be the same here, but then this whole element of corruption would disappear completely, and people would have to be dealt with differently. You'd need real incentives and motivations for people to join the armed forces of Ukraine, unlike now when they're forced to. So write in the comments whether you believe in contactless mobilization, friends, and whether you believe in such changes in 2026. I would really like for this to actually happen. That would actually lower the level of tension, and it would also reduce these corruption risks, and everything would really be much better. Honestly, if they introduce this, I doubt it. Maybe I'm just skeptical, but if you disagree, share in the comments. Also, share this video with your friends, acquaintances, and relatives. Let them watch it too. So thank you all for your support. Have a great day and see you next time.